Yep, so we're continuing on with some more games. This time I'm joined by a new co-host. Say hello to Ferocca.
Hello, everyone watching.
Which isn't that many people, but you're in for a good show. This time we've got Sunfucker. I'll just say I can say fuck. And against Nangert. Sunfucker's deck, he's bringing like a Twin Fang, like somewhat generic, and a pretty cool like keeper Vanar list. Just with Razorbacks and Fenrir War Masters, Jaxes. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I quite like the list. I've played a similar list, made by Tepid Kong. That the keeper list that you might have seen as well. There are a lot of targets in Vanar, and in this case also Zenrui is there. And if your main Jax survives, you can also Zenrui your Jax. And I also am really a fan. I played that myself a bit when Tepicon gave me their list of Keeper Vanar to play 2 Mark of the Solitude, because those 1/1s that you make with Keeper are, of course, really nice targets. Same for Jaxi or Jaxes that survive from the big Jax. They're really nice Mark of Solitude targets. And I guess the Prophet of the White Palm as well.
Yeah, I really like that in combo with Jax. Like, it's a really strong 7-mana turn.
Yeah, exactly. It's so many decks can't answer that. I guess only Magmar can, right? I think there's nothing else that can answer Jax Prophet.
Speaking of Magmar, there's their other deck, which does have some of those answers. Metamorphosis would answer it, and then you can like Spirit Harvest in the next turn. Just running a bunch of good cards here.
Yeah, the only one that you don't see that often is the now buffed compared to the past Primordial Gazer. That's 4 attack instead of 2. I guess that's the only surprising card, but I think I've seen it with Vindicator. At the very least, it's good with Vindicator, but I guess everything is, right?
Yeah, it's hard to be bad. Vindicator's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then their opponent, Nangert, is running Linar and Vitruvian. I quite like this Vitruvian list, but I haven't seen many people playing Vitruvian. What's your opinion on it? I know you're playing it a little bit.
I personally think Vitruvian is not that strong, but at least they do have very good proactive plays. It's just that the removal is so bad. Of course, Siphon Energy is great, and if artifacts are played, Vars's Skirt is great, but that's about it. So I'm also quite a fan of the kind of sub-ovet where you steal the minions, which still means you can easily lose to something in the mid game or even early game. Like I played it a lot, and if you don't have your Siphon, then there are so many random things that can screw you over. But still, Fed does have good proactive plays. Time Maelstrom is amazing, even though Archon exists. Sabovet, it's not good against aggro, but it's very good against control, and it's really fun to play. I guess in Nangert's case, the third wish does mean you're a lot better in the mid game, because siphoning it doesn't actually do that much. The bigger problem is juxting with Saber Spine Seals on a 4 attack minion. You also need them for the Lantern Foxes and the Heart Seekers sometimes, and so on. So yeah, I guess that's my verdict on that. It's fun to play, good proactive plays, but can be so easily screwed over by your opponent's plan. And also, it's very hard to come back from behind, I feel like, which with Sabovet is a bit easier if they play something big.
Yeah, a deck that doesn't struggle for removal, though, is Linar. Not just Martyrdom, although that fucking helps a lot. There's, Circle of Life and Tempest and Immolation in this deck.
Yeah, that particular list I actually literally played myself. Nangert asked me to play it when I was streaming. I felt a bit uncomfortable with the 2 Tempest instead of 3, because if I play Linar, then the thing I enjoy about it most is that I finally don't lose to Jax. I play quite a lot of Vanar and Vet, so I lose to Jax a lot. And, people that play Jax usually play 3. So I feel a bit uncomfortable about that, which it might play a role against Sunfucker as well, with the 3 Jax. So yeah, if it's like a fatigue game, then the last jacks will always stick, no matter if they find profit of the white palm or not. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid standard list.
Yeah, I think if a game goes like 3 jacks as long, there's probably you can finagle a situation where you can just clear one on board, but it's not always that clear cut.
Yeah, especially because Fenrir's removal is pretty solid, right? And Fenrir is, especially against Nangert list, is also very likely to stick because there's 2 light benders and that's it. So no 3 dispels, which I think is more standard. And there's also no Sunbloom, so the Twilights and Alcuins are not gonna get that back either. And the healing is not that important against Venar. I feel like the Venar list might be solid against Nangert's Lyo, except Arclight Regalia is of course a huge threat. But again, if they play 3 jacks or jacks with a profit,
yeah, it'll be interesting to find out how it plays out in real time, because the first game is Nangert Online against this Vanar list.
Curious to see what happens.
Pretty reasonable opening hand. I think you can probably play the Silver Guard first, or maybe you try and replace for a double 2-drop. You're just keeping everything. And yeah, quickly seeing that Silverguard Knight block off the infiltrate. So Sunfucker has access to both mana tiles here, but I don't know if they're going to use them. It'd be good to get a big tempo lead, but they don't at the moment have a way to deal with this Silverguard Knight, which is pretty big on board. I've just noticed you can sort of see its reflection in the mana tile.
The reflection of
yeah, of Silverguard Knight and Argent. I've never noticed that effect before.
Me neither, actually.
It's probably a bit small for you, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
There are those things that even after hundreds of games, then you suddenly notice. For example, the Imperial Mechanist, that minion is facing backwards. That took me like hundreds of games before I was like, wait, that sprite is unlike any other sprite, facing with the back to your general. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
Not especially, though. Actually, one that took me a while to figure out was Crystal Cloaker. To me, that like horn thing didn't really. Well, never mind.
So because of the Silverguard positioning trying to block the infiltrate, Nangert opened up to Hard Sister, and then the Crystal Cloaker ending up in a tile anyway. Or the Cloaker, I should say.
Yeah. The Cloaker taking the 1 damage there means that Nangert can just move and kill it easily when they move down to the bottom tile, which feels pretty good for them. And these big 4/3s on the board. That's going to prompt Sunfuckers to just move away.
And that's always nice, right, to have distance against the Linar.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, especially if Arclight Regalia comes online.
Yeah, it's not the best Regalia I've ever seen. It's going to clear off this Keeper of the Veil, but given that Sunfucker has a lot of 3 attack minions on board, he can choose to clear it here. It might not be that easy, because you also want the Hard Sister to trade into these Windblade Adepts. I don't know if you can afford to do that, though.
Yeah, exactly, because if you clear the Regalia this turn, you take 4 and you're in range of another 8 or 10 with the general hit, then you're pretty much dead. Especially because the wind blades will live. Yeah, so I'm not surprised to see Sunfucker running away. Like a Fenrir would be a really nice blocker here. Then Regalia would take a charge and the Windblade would die, and they would still have to keep distance. Like they wouldn't be able to close in next to their face. So a Fenrir would I think be the best thing to have here.
Yeah, it's never bad to have Fenrir, but you really want something to reliably block the way from Nangert here. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of trouble.
Definitely.
Can see something come out? Yeah, that's Fenrir. That's good. Oh, and this is pretty cute. Putting a Marcus Solitude on to make sure it lives through either of these 4 attack minions, or 4 attack units, rather.
Yeah, and it also means that this spell on the Fenrir will be less desirable, right?
Yep. So this can get that Master out of Nangert's hand, which, you know, it's a fine Master, of course, but it's a pretty high value card that is gone from Nangert. I guess they know that Sunfucker doesn't have that many great martyrdom targets anyway, so...
Yeah, they don't really have any, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when I look at the list, I don't see anything worth martyrdoming, actually.
Yeah, so that probably like played into their decision making there. They're like, what else am I going to cast this on anyway?
Yeah. And they were also at full health, so...
Yeah. And once again, in a tough spot, like Nangert had a pretty good turn. They had tempo lead. And Sunfucker did something that maybe could have thrown a wrench in, didn't. So let's see if they got anything more dangerous this time. Senra is not that good. It just dies on board to the Celerity Lion.
Yeah, which gets an amazing value trade, of course, because it can kill the Primus Fist first.
Yeah. So I don't even know if you run into the corner. Like, probably try and get out from the corner, maybe, just to give yourself a bit of space. I might just run 2 down here. Oh no, that's a pretty bad MO. Yeah, this is tough for Sunfucker. Maybe they should just...
Yeah, I think they will need to bank on going back into the game with Aspect of the Mountains. The problem is they're not running any 1-drops except Prophet of the White Palm, so next turn they still can't Aspect of the Mountain as, the Prophet blocks the damage from Aspect of the Mountain, so they need 8 mana at least, unless it's on board.
And the other thing with using the Prophet there is, like, maybe if they had like a Jack's Prophet turn there as well, like that could bring them back in the game, whereas they've just used the Prophet. Maybe a bit early, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because this turn, as there is no Divine Bond in the deck, this turn, Jack's Prophet could bring them back in the game indeed. So now they would need Aspect of the Mountains or Hailstone Prison.
Yeah. I quite like Aspect of the Mountain. I hope people start adding it into more of their Vanilla decks. I think people are like sort of are doing that, but maybe, I don't know. I think it gets slightly underplayed, that's all.
Yeah, I remember in the past, in 2-draw, it was almost never played. And in general, during the history of Duelyst, it wasn't played much. But I feel like now people play it more than they used to, probably because of Solofit, right? Because, yeah, he has been playing it in every Vanner deck he played, I think.
Yeah, Solo knows what's up. So yeah, we did see that Hailstone come out and deal with this Iron Cliff. So that's at least some good news for Sunfucker. And a Razorback to clear the Regalia. Yeah, I don't think that's enough. They feel like they're just behind on tempo too much. Don't know.
Yeah, I think so too, because they don't even really have to deal with Razorback at 17 health against Venner anyway, and also if they do want to, it's very easy.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, they just develop, right?
Yeah, not even choosing to Holy Armor out there. Just get more provokes on board. And position so that if Sunfucker does have a aspect the mountains, there's no good spot for it.
Yeah, they would need Hard Sister Aspect of the Mountains. That could actually bring them back in the game, but I don't see what else. Well, maybe another Hailstone could help a lot, but like Hailstone, Chromatic Cold, and then... But then they don't have much mana left to develop anyway.
Yeah. So I do see the aspect of the mountain come out, but yeah, it's not with the Hard Sister combo, so only dealing with one of those provokes, and they're just chosen to go face because Razorback can't do anything else given that position. So at least they've put a little bit of threat onto Nangert, but I mean, we can see his hand. He's not really in any danger of dying to damage with all this healing, and yeah, it's a pretty good Holy Immolation now.
Yeah, now their board will be too big to deal with, right? Especially because there's, only one Hailstone left.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing dies to mountains or...
I'm a bit surprised they even attacked there. I feel like they're so far ahead that they don't need to, but I don't think it matters very much.
I guess Nangert checked the deck list and knows that the out-of-hand damage is limited to 2 Chromatic Colds, right?
Yeah.